So I told that raccoon, stop taking my bells. I don't need another room in my house. Just get away from... Oh, hi, everyone. Randomizer. Link to the Past Randomizer. What are we doing this week, Swerve? Mystery?
What? Oh, sorry, let me turn off Animal Crossing. I heard it was mystery. I think it's mystery. That sounds right. What's a mystery?
Mystery is not something Animal Crossing related. We're going to have to switch gears this week. Instead, we're going to give JTB and Chelsea some setting or a seed. They don't know settings. They have some idea of what's up. They have an idea of what options might be given to them. But they don't know. We don't know. They're going to start playing. We're going to find out what they have to do.
Chelsea's file name here seems to spell delete fear, please. And is this, is she preemptively blaming Fear Agent for anything that goes wrong here?
Yes.
It's a good call.
That's a good call. I like it better. I like that declaration better than JTB's cry for just help, please. It looks like he's going to be floundering about based on the fish emote he's taken.
Yeah, and we got a good old nature link on Chelsea's side. So yeah, as you mentioned, this is going to be a mystery seed. So the goal is unknown going in. There are weights when the seed is generated, kind of declaring what are the odds of each mode showing up. Oh, and this is actually interesting. I was kind of wondering if this is going to happen. We have an inverted seed. We can tell right off the bat there because the options are, you know, your character's house and the Dark Chapel, which is the dark version of Sanctuary. And both Chelsea seems confused already.
I'm not sure where she's going with this. Maybe just to check an entrance?
Yeah. Okay, she wants to know if this is an entrance randomizer as well.
Looks like that is a normal shop in that shop spot by the lake. Okay, Swerve,
Sure
what
is.
the heck is inverted mode? Why are we in the dark world at 45 seconds into the game?
Well, you see, nobody knows, because this is a oft-forgotten about mode of randomizer. But this is actually very interesting because so there's a doubleheader between these two teams. We got JTB versus ChelseyxLynn right now, representing their teams WJPD, BBBBBBBB, and But We're Buddies.
I think you missed a T there.
After... No, dude, there's like 3 T's and 4 B's. Trust me, you just misheard. And then after this, we'll be... they'll be playing again. It'll be Willard and Locke.
I think so.
And what's interesting is we did a practice mystery seed yesterday. Last night. However, JTB wasn't in that race. The other 3 racers I mentioned were, and it was an inverted seed. So I don't want to call anything way too early here, especially with Chelsea's screen and internet just broken. But it was inverted, so I do think Chelsea's going to have this a little more fresh in her mind.
Yeah, she was saying after that race, that practice last night, she hasn't done a lot of inverted. She was really glad she got the practice, and she still didn't want inverted today, but if she got it, she could deal with it now. I want to shout out the bombs that JTB got from Stumpy that he got to use to go to Hype Cave, which gave him a sword already. Inverted, I think, is a little less popular because a lot of people get stymied at the front when you get forced into something like 3 Heart Hammer Blind, and that early sword helps with so much of the early game.
Absolutely. I don't know. I don't seem to have the same complaints or problems with inverted there's another sword too, so that definitely helps. In a location that Chelsea didn't check? Maybe?
I assume she got it. We just couldn't see when
we gotta wait and see if Wings the sword. But yeah, there's there's several things going on with inverted that makes it a little bit tricky to handle. And I think a lack of familiarity with most players makes it difficult to route. It's already more difficult to route just because obviously you start in the Dark World. So for those unaware, things are basically kind of swapped around. You need the Moon Pearl to go into the Light World. Without the Moon Pearl, you'll be a bunny. And then the mirror works backwards, so it takes you from the Light World to the Dark World. There's some other adjustments along the overworld to kind of open up things and move things around and make them more accessible. For instance, like Graveyard Ledge and Cave 45 no longer require the mirror. You just walk up to them in the Light World, and you're good to go. And then in the Dark World, like Ice Palace is just open. So you'd only need a fire source to really start diving in there. Obviously, you also want like a hammer and probably a hook shot or some other stuff to dive deeper down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
you mentioned it's a little harder to route. In particular, one of the spots that gets nasty is if you're up on the East Death Mountain area. Turtle Rock, you can be expected to go in the back doors of Turtle Rock, which you get to by jumping down in the Light World and then mirroring. Ooh, Chelsea taking a bad death in the attic of Thieves Town. So it's the kind of thing, like, trying to do anything in inverted often just takes a minute longer than you'd want, which means you have to think a bit more carefully and closely about where you're going.
Yeah, absolutely. As you mentioned already, like early on, it's a bit more rough than an open or stand, because clearly you're in the Dark World where things do more damage. You're gonna be here really low health. Chelsea's sitting at the default 3. JTB's got 1 additional heart he's found, and a Master Sword, so he's a little more equipped for Thieves Town than Chelsea was. But this is still no boots, 4 hearts. Master Sword is not an easy Thieves Town. And yeah, as you mentioned, people can get walled a little early on because you can easily be funneled into having to fight blind, or if there's, a boss rando shuffle on, which thankfully there isn't for this seed. That can get real ugly if you have to kill the boss here to get like your Moon Pearl or your progression.
So after taking that death in Thieves Town, Chelsea bailed entirely and went down to the archery game. She is, I guess, farming money here so that she can go to dig game, and then that'll let her poke around and maybe get some other stuff before she heads back in, including, hopefully, her Master Sword.
Yeah, definitely going to be wanting that Master Sword. That's definitely going to make this early game a lot easier. Yeah, I love seeing... Oh, JTB also taking a death in the bomb floor room.
Yeah, he was going for the bombs under the pots. I guess he needed a bomb at all to be able to hit that floor, but it's a nasty room. Those things do what, 2 hearts?
Yeah. They basically, they're like the Dark World version of rats. They kind of have that same AI behavior. There's a fair amount of randomness to their movement. However, they're much beefier and they hit you for 2 hearts instead of like a quarter heart or whatever. But yeah, they're on the right side there. We have Chelsea doing the dig game. That costs 80 rupees, and then you also have the chess game open from the start. That costs 30. So it's not that uncommon to see the archery game money farm that Chelsea did.
Yeah, she went up into the 300s, which seems excessive. But then you think, okay, what if I want to buy a potion just for safety? What if I need to get into pod early, which inverted can also make you do? And suddenly you're just like, I better get what I can right now.
And she farmed up some extra money there in dig game. I wonder if she just didn't realize that green rupee was the prize, or... No, there's a sound effect. She must have just wanted to get some money back. Yeah, that's another kind of weird component of inverted. Both, like, standard and inverted, you both need, like, around 100 rupees to do those early checks, because you have the bottle vendor and the light world. However, in open and standard, you have a lot more early checks to find all that money. More. Yeah, this one you only got a couple. You have a few free, like with the C-shaped house and Stumpy and Link's house. But then after that, you need at least bombs to be able to check Hype Cave. And then shortly after that, you're going to be diving like Skullwoods or Thieves Town.
hey, that's the magic word I was going to get to. Skull Woods. No one's gone there yet. Kind of interesting since there's guaranteed bombs for farming in the drop down you're intended to use to get to the big chest. Potential for 2 items, and it's there right at the start. And unlike Thieves Town, Skull Woods is kind of nice in that if the enemies bully you and you do take a death, the start of the dungeon isn't far away.
Yeah, absolutely. I've only done like a handful of inverted seeds myself, but that's typically my starting move. So you just go there. You there's two bomb pots, like you mentioned. You drop right down into the hole leading to the big chest. There's 2 bombs you can pick up right there, and then there's a hole that you can just fall in a few times. Do a couple death warps and farm up, like 6 bombs or so, and then clear out what you can of Skull Woods before moving on.
All right, so Chelsea, been to Hype Cave, got her Master Sword, got her lamp. JTB, meanwhile, has made his way through the rest of Thieves Town. Going to be leaving that big chest behind without the hammer, but is going to do this blind fight, which I expect he can do with 4 hearts.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about not having boss shuffle. Because even if you have, or just like Randomizer in general, because the Randomizer being on will put blind already spawned in the room, which makes that fight a lot more difficult compared to when you have kind of the script that you can follow. And there's the glove that I was just about to start talking about. Because that's one of, as I mentioned, there's some overworld changes as well to kind of make this mode work. And one of them is moving the old man cave from the light world to the dark world. So if you're in inverted here and you just kind of head to Death Mountain as if it were the light world, you can go into that cave. You want the glove, and you're going to need the lamp to put it in logic. And that will get you up to Dark Death Mountain.
And what can we do on Dark Death Mountain? We can return the old man, which is very slow because we have to walk him all the way to the top through the portal and back down to his normal light world cave. We can also just
Super
walk
Bunny
over
is
to
open,
Death
right?
Mountain. Yeah, there's Super Bunny. But mainly, I'm looking at that that Master Sword, that lamp. I'm thinking
Oh, yeah.
Tower.
Because that's another component of inverted. Aga Tower and Ganon's Tower are swapped. So in inverted, you can go up to Ganon's Tower, and that's where Aghanim's little like laser barrier will be. You break on in there. Clearing that out will dump you off on top of Hyrule Castle in the White World. And then you can do some fun shenanigans as a bunny in the Light World. Fun is in quotes.
Yeah, you can do a little bit of stuff. I expect we'll probably see JTB try to get the Moon Pearl before he really heads there. Partly because one of the things you want to do on top of the castle is read that sign and figure out what your goal for the seed actually is.
JDP. Oh, he got grabbed on purpose. That
that was intentional work.
It just looked really funny because he was holding the pot, and so I assumed he was going to throw the pot at the Fall Master, and then he just walked into it. Yeah, Aghanim's still very much like a play of last. You don't really want to do it without the Moon Pearl, unless it's your last option, just kind of like you would in a standard mode.
And you know what sucks about having the gloves on blind? You have to kill all the enemies in that room Chelsea was just in, just so you can go around the big block there.
Yeah. I don't know. It does kind of suck, but it's always, it's just such a weird thing in this game that even exists that I kind of always appreciate seeing it.
Yeah, fair enough. Chelsea,
and with the old dungeons tourney going on for like the vanilla non-randomized version of the game, since you skip gloves entirely, you have to go through there doing that to get Titan's Mitts. And it's just kind of neat that that route works because they decided to program that room that way.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I thought you needed mitts to pick up that rock because you're in the dungeon where you get the mitts. But
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, for all we know, that's what was the original intention, was like the big rocks were only going to be picked up by mitts or something. Maybe that just changed in development or something. Because it's really just bizarre.
yeah, maybe I should have tried.
But we got JTB walking away from Skullwoods. Not much to show for it. And Chelsea will be fighting blind here and picking up her glove. We got a heart container on Bumper Ledge. Bumper Ledge is a little interesting and inverted as well. That's another minor change. Because just like this old man cave has been moved to the dark, the normal Bumper Ledge cave has been moved to the light world here. And thus you also need a mirror to be able to grab that Bumper Ledge item. Got a little fishy guiding this old man home. This is the old man in inverted is a little bit annoying. Because as we mentioned, we do have Super Bunny available. This is another little part of the overworld that's been changed in inverted. You can actually just walk up the staircase that's been added here. That'll take you right up to Ganon's tower. Do not. He will tell you his life story, and it's honestly, I mean, it's kind of interesting, but it's not worth your time.
It's interesting once in a non-race setting.
Oh man, this is a great bunny sprite. I love the eyes. But yeah, this is why it's a little bit annoying, because if JTB wants to check Super Bunny Cave, he's going to have to save and quit here. He does open up the old man's save spot, which will be in Dark Death Mountain.
Honestly, this part wouldn't be so bad if he had boots and he could just do a spin speed. But walking this manually over and over, you just feel like you're losing time, even though your opponent has to do it too.
Yeah. I think this is one of the big knocks that people have against inverted, and kind of myself included, is just like navigating Death Mountain in the normal game is already kind of annoying, particularly depending on what items you have. But it's even worse in inverted.
Interesting.
Yeah.
JTB's skipping the left hand, or sorry, the Dark Death Mountain play. I don't know that he's gonna get any progression out of this right now.
Yeah. So, yeah, as mentioned, he can just walk over to East Death Mountain and check the two chests in Super Bunny. I'm assuming, again, like I mentioned, I don't think he has much experience with inverted. A lot of people don't. Like I said, I know Chelsea just did one yesterday, so that's probably going to be a bit of an advantage as we watch these players navigate the sea. So it could just be a lapse in judgment. It's an easy thing to forget.
It's interesting with the, this light world access that you get. You can do a little bit of stuff. Like you can walk over to the bottle vendor and talk to him. I think you can talk to Sahasra'la if you have the green pendant and get the reward that way. But like, I just don't expect the progression to be there, and it takes so long to get to some of those places. I wonder if JTB's just forgotten about East Death Mountain for the moment.
Like, logically, the Moon Pearl could be on the bottle vendor. That is a check that will be in, but it sucks because you have to walk all the way from Hyrule Castle over to Kakariko as a bunny.
Ooh.
And like that's why I said it's kind of, you treat Aghanim the same as you would in a normal seed, where you don't want to do it until you kind of have.
Yeah. Now there's a couple other things you can do as a bunny in the light world. Like you can walk over to the pod area and mirror, or you could walk over to the mire area and mirror and get some checks there. But we're also mirrorless, and that's like the inverted equivalent of what your Moon Pearl being in Checkerboard Cave.
Yeah, and then pointed out in chat, you can do dungeon revival in Hyrule Castle. Like, you can go in there, you can die, and then you can, save and continue. Or, continue without saving or whatever. You can just continue after dying and you'll respawn in normal form. That is an option, but obviously that's not considered in logic here, so when you're primarily looking for that Moon Pearl or something that's going to lead you to that Moon Pearl, it's probably not something you're going to do. I mean, JTB could maybe do it just because it's probably checks he'll end up doing anyway, and it would be inefficient.
Certainly, I'd be doing it here, just because it's on the table. Ah, we got a blue ball. Wait, that's our second one. Speaking of great bunny sprites, check out that nature link.
That is classic too. Yeah, there's JTB with the immediate save and quit. And back to Dark Death Mountain. So I'm wondering if he kind of was thinking things over as he's clearing Egnum's tower and realized, oh, I can just walk over to Super Bunny Cave.
That's a fair approach. We talk sometimes about runners going, okay, I'm going to take this 5-minute dungeon clear, put it on autopilot, figure out the rest of my plan from here.
Yeah, and it might not be a terrible thing. Like, for all we know, Egnum, like, we might just find the Moon Pearl over Super Bunny Cave, and Egnum's tower is going to be required anyway. Or JTB is going to go up here.
Yeah, Spec Rock's available.
Oh yeah, that's the other annoying thing about rescuing the old man inverted. There's just a red rupee, but you can't go into that cave when you have the old man in tow. So to check that, you have to drop him off first, and it's just a wee bit annoying.
Chelsea made it across the Lionel Bridge.
Yeah, a little bit
almost needed for Turtle Rock, but we don't generally use that anyways.
Yeah, as Fylan mentioned earlier, you can kind of mirror into the other entrances of Turtle Rock in this mode, which is actually one of my favorite features of this mode. I think it's pretty interesting. Okay, well.
That's certainly not a Moon Pearl in Super Bunny Cave like I was expecting / hoping / counting on. So, who wants to do a quest as a bunny?
Yeah, it's starting to look like that time. JTB wanted to, knock out a few of these other Dark World checks. Running over and doing Dig Game real quick. That extra heart coming in handy there. Chelsea's able to take 2 D-boosts, get through that line. Lionels kind of suck. I mean, normally they're pretty inoffensive, only appearing in that part of the game anyway. And you're usually pretty strong by the time you run into them in the vanilla game. But if you only have Master Sword, they actually are immune to Master Sword.
You can spin, but that's its own hazard.
Yeah, you can try to spin and kill them, but you're probably better off just damage boosting through if you can.
Hook shot is the ideal item to have on this bridge if you're trying to deboost across, just because those iframes can sometimes mean they take a shot, you dodge the shot, and then they back off like we saw happen to JTB.
Yeah, the Lionels have like kind of like this interesting AI where they don't try to like get up in your. They try to get to like kind of like a set distance behind, like away from you, either above or to the side, and shoot at you.
Chelsea is down to half a heart in the Ega Tower climb. I hope she remembers which pots are going to give her a refill. It looks like it.
Oh, nice. I
That
didn't know
is
there
some
was a heart
sick
there.
game knowledge. I could not have told you about the pot on the right there.
Yeah, it's honestly that kind of game knowledge is pretty useful and pretty underappreciated. But if you're ever low on health in a dungeon and you're fear of dying, you might as well just start checking pots, and learn where some of these heart and magic pickups are and stuff, because they can definitely save your bacon. Oh, oh, this is getting spicy.
Oh no!
Ooh. You hate to see it. Oh, JTB. See, this is where. This is the kind of stuff where I think Chelsea would be at a slight advantage if she can get through Agnon's Tower. This is kind of the same situation. That's okay. One of the key takeaways of Inverted is you gotta kind of realize it's a lot more similar to Standard and Open than you would initially think. If you don't have Hammer and you don't have Glove and Moon Pearl, like your normal Dark World access stuff or Mitts, you kind of have the same Light World access as you would in a normal seed. Like would have Dark World access.
Yeah, you can open that portal, you can go through, but you can't get out of it.
Yeah, and so that portal you can go through, you can't get out of. There's some other changes, so like on top of Turtle Rock, you can actually just jump from above to get on top of Turtle Rock in the Dark World and Inverted. But you'll need Titan's Mitts to open up the portal itself, and you'll need Hammer to get out in the Light World. So it's kind of the same requirements for that portal as you'd expect.
Sorry, I'm just chilling to the sweet Dark World music.
What Dark World? This is Light World music.
Sorry, the bunny theme. I'm chilling to the bunny theme, is what I mean to say. Hey, you know what really sucks about Inverted Pearlless Ega?
Running from Usain Bolt without
in bunny form? Yeah. It's pretty awful.
That's pretty good. So yeah, GTB beelining for the bottle vendor here. Having the flippers. Oh, this is just.
Oh!
Oh yeah, this is another
spot access.
Easy check that you can do. So falling into a hole as a bunny will put you in a super bunny state where you can interact with certain things. So you can jump into the well and check all of these.
Yeah, sadly you can't open the vulnerable wall, so he'll be back there. But on the off chance there was some sweet progression there, JTB might have saved a little time.
Yeah, he could have checked a few things along the way, like Cave 45 and the library. Obviously, stuck in bunny form, he wouldn't have been able to collect it. But it's also a bit tedious, and you have enemies to deal with and dodge while you're doing so. So I'm assuming once he has to go back to Kakariko to clear out the rest of that anyway, he'll be able to make those checks.
Yeah, so chat's pointing out that Kern Jump was an option for these runners. That's the bomb jump you can do in the north part of the Dark World. If you jump off a ledge and have the bomb bump you right to the edge of the screen, you can screen transition and get a fake flippers, which might have circumvented the Aga play in this case. It's also, kind of a weird play to do in that you still want to try to stick with what the seed's telling you to do in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I wasn't even thinking about Kern Jump, but it's definitely a trick worth knowing for.
I mean, if it comes down to, like, if you Kern Jump once and it saves you the whole Aga climb, that's great. And if you're dead set on avoiding Aga Tower and you Kern Jump 4 times, you're losing some efficiency at some point.
Yeah, you are, but you know, even with some failures, it won't take you that long, as long as you can pull it off. And you'll at the very least, you should be able to get some useful knowledge, even if you don't end up finding like the moon pearl over here, like this seed very well probably. But JTB still needs 22 rupees before you can get into pod. I don't know if you realize.
Oh gosh, we can't even check the stun prize.
It's pretty atypical. Like oftentimes, I mean, this obviously isn't always the case. There's a fair number of times where it isn't the case, but by the time you get to pod in most seeds, you generally have the money. So it's kind of easy to not think about until you're halfway there, like JTB, and then you go, oops, left my wallet at home.
Yeah, this is where that extra arrow game farming that Chelsea did is going to come in handy. Interestingly, she's going through the breezeway to get to the village instead of via the south route. I think this is a little faster, that you can't do like the Cave 45 scout or anything.
Yeah.
But it's definitely faster just for getting to the bottle vendor.
Okay, yeah, now we have JTB heading up here to Catfish. Yeah, as soon as he started heading towards pod instead of up here first, I kind of assumed he didn't realize that he was a little short on rupees. Hopefully you can find some up here. Or better yet, just find the moon pearl.
Chelsea, you're super bunny. You can't use bombs.
Oh, now he just needs two more. Two more. Also, what? Do you want to break down what those that weird 20 rupee icon means?
I love me a good green 20. For those of you who haven't played this game on the harder difficulties before, that lovely green rupee with a 20 on it means that you just picked up an item that normally would be something, but you've already got the highest level you're allowed to get. So it could be intended to be a mail upgrade or a sword upgrade for these runners.
Yep. And I'd also point out that there's a kind of a delineation between the item pool and item functionality. And so we know that is the item pool, so we're going to be expecting less health overall. This could be our maxed out sword. I mean, it's going to be our maxed out sword.
No, that might have been an armor.
Oh yeah, I guess hard gets rid of mail upgrades altogether too, huh?
Yeah. You know what's actually great about that though? JTB now has exactly 110 rupees to enter pod. So like, yay! It's too bad he didn't get the upgrade he might have gotten, but because that was a green 20, he can now enter the dungeon.
Yeah, he just has to not get hit, lose the monkey and die. That'd be awfully funny. But he's safe. He's through. And we're gonna find something here. Wow.
I really hope this isn't bow locked. That would just be rude.
Well, I mean, if it's bow locked, that means your progression's right here in this first chest, which would be also
it means you're getting juked around the game a little more.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of data play if it was just fire rod or mitts or something right there. But instead, we're gonna dive deeper into pod and then find fire rod. Okay, well, there's a lightning bolt coin.
Ether gets us nowhere.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything for us yet.
Maybe my
There's a bombo, so that does get us somewhere.
Oh no. Oh no.
I love JTB hit select there. Had to pause for like 3 seconds, just be like, "Are you freaking with me right now, game?"
So beyond that, Pod's bow locked. Hey,
All right, this is beautiful.
and we can open up Turtle Rock and walk in the front door and do nothing because we don't have the Cane of Samaria, or we can do what JTB's doing here and go to Ice Palace. Video games, man. Video games.
Okay.
I like that from JTB. Just tank the death. Get it out of the way. Heal.
Yeah, the extra 2 hard definitely save you from an accidental hit later. All right, so what are we gonna find in here? Maybe we'll find the fire rod in here. I mean, normally I'm not the type to wish terrible things upon the player, but these are my friends, and the seed has already been pretty awful so far, so why expect that to change?
Yeah, half an hour in, and you got your Thieves' Town crystal, and everything else has just been like trying to take this seed inch by inch by inch. I want something good to show up now. Can we give him boots?
And honestly, like for my 2 cents, like for these kind of seeds, it kind of sucks a little bit when you're in it and you're just like, oh my god, this is getting, like, it starts to feel a little bit tedious. But the one positive is when you have a tedious seed like this that kind of forces your hand, you at least know that your opponent is in the same boat.
Yeah, you know that this is really bad and linear and annoying, but you're also not losing time because your opponent made some weird gamble that saved them. So, Ice Palace.
Yeah,
Can't
Ice
beat it.
Palace. This is one way to get through it. We don't have the Samaria for the other way, so it's a little bit slow. Not gonna bother with the bomb jump here. This is a
I like
good
this
call.
call. He's playing the odds that he's not going to get the hammer in this dungeon.
Yeah, because that's the main thing we're missing is the hammer to actually be able to get to the boss. And so as long as that doesn't show up here, there's not really much reason to bomb jump.
Nice double bomb laying to just take out all the pain graders in one go. I see people in chat talking about handing in that mushroom. Unfortunately, we do need the moon pearl to hand it in, not just so we can hand it over to the witch, but also even to get to the witch's hut.
Do you? Oh yeah, because
Yeah, there's bushes and stuff in the way.
there's the bush and rocks and all that. There's a bunch of garbage in the way.
Alright, so with small key from the freezer room, JTB can go to the right side of this dungeon, and I like this math he just did of, hang on, I can walk across the spike, and that'll do a heart. I can hit the switch, and then I'll walk back and take a heart, and I'll die before I get it open. Crap.
Yeah, this is this is what we in the biz refer to as hot garbage.
I thought we were in
but
Ice
this
Palace.
is a good
How
room.
is this hot?
I hear your statement. I'm gonna choose not to respond.
I wouldn't either.
This is a great room for JTB to come to, because yeah, there's hearts in all the corners here. So he can fill up on health and grab that small key on his way.
Yeah, he's gonna have to bomb jump to get back to the right side, but I think he knows what he's doing with that.
Oh, or you can just find the moon pearl right there and say, heck that noise.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Chelsea
Heck
unfortunately died.
Yeah, that's too bad. That's a lot of times she's slowly losing over the course of this seed from deaths. It's just kind of bleeding out.
Yeah. Because, yeah, it's a little unfortunate. By the time she had started Aghanim's Tower, JTB was basically a full Aghanim's Tower ahead. I mean, he had like a couple little things to do that she had already done, like dig game and stuff. But these deaths are definitely starting to add up.
Okay, good. We're going to the castle. Not because I care about the items and escape, but I want to see what those goals are.
Oh yeah, that's a major component of mystery that we haven't even really been able to touch upon in the first 40 minutes. We touched upon it a little bit at the beginning, but as mentioned, a key component of mystery is you don't really know what your goal is. And again, there are weights kind of giving odds to all these potential goals. There's signs on top of Hyrule Castle in inverted. Normally it's on top of Pyramid, but inverted it's swapped over to Light World. That will tell you the crystal requirement to get into GT, as well as the goal to defeat Ganon, or if it's a pedestal seed. The weights that we're using means that the crystals can be anywhere from 3 to 7. And we could have a pedestal goal or an all dungeons goal for Ganon.
Yeah,
and JTB will check that out after venturing to Zelda's cell. Oh.
So, Chelsea down to 2 hearts in Ice Palace, but through the bomb jump room. I want to highlight again that JTB just said I'm not bomb jumping here because I don't have the hammer, so I know I can't beat the dungeon. That was a really, really good heads-up play on his part.
Yeah, like the only way Chelsea could, like, I don't know, get anything positive from doing a bomb jump is if that one chest in the spike room that JTB didn't check just somehow happened to be the hammer, but the odds of that are astronomically low.
So, you know what did work out for her? By using ether on all those pen gators, she was able to chuck them at each other, and the stun prize, or the ether prize, I should say, was actually more hearts for her.
Yeah.
That works out very nicely.
Yes, she's looking pretty good. She'll be able to walk back and forth through that spike room just fine.
No!
Yeah, I
JTB.
had a feeling that was coming.
No! I just want to know how you beat Ganon, JTB.
JTB, why you do this?
So we know it's not fast Ganon, because we would have seen a Ganon-shaped hole at the top of the castle.
Yeah, I don't recall any Ganon-shaped holes, so...
But we don't know how many crystals to enter GT. We don't know how many crystals to beat Ganon. Both of those are stored in signs on top of the castle, which JTB is walking the other way from.
Alright, well, let's see what he decides to do. This isn't like the end of the world. As I mentioned, the minimum crystal requirement is going to be 3 anyway.
Mm-hmm.
The big thing would be is if it's a pedestal goal, since that's going to change your priorities entirely.
Yeah, pedestal goal or all dungeons goal, in the same way that both of them kind of make you want to clear out those pendant dungeons fully.
Yeah.
It also is, it's just kind of nice, even if you know you can't get there till 3 or 4 or 5 crystals, it's nice to know when GT opens up, because GT has so many items in it. There's this thing that happens where as soon as you can enter it, it feels like that's where your next progression is going to be.
Oh, well, there's a hammer.
Hey, we got that. That'll be fun at race game.
So that's going to be really convenient. The hammer, always, in any mode, is just a great item to find. Sitting here at Master Sword, the hammer's going to do more damage. It's going to give our players access to the other warps.
Yeah.
Not to mention all of the checks it's going to open up, just like it would in an open or standard. We got Chelsea heading into Hyrule Castle after she checks Uncle here. So hopefully we'll be able to see the goals from here.
So I want to point out both runners tried this tree pull and weren't able to do it. That's because the tree pulls that you can do change as soon as Aghanim's defeated.
Mm-hmm. So there are still tree pulls in the light world, but they have moved after Aghanim's.
And I don't even know where they are. I know some people know. Some people keep it in mind, and I say, if I had an Agaseed, I'd just never end up doing it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, typically by the time, I mean, inverted is, I guess, the one case where maybe that would be have a decent chance of affecting you. But in most seeds, by the time you kill Aga, the tree pulls aren't much of a factor anymore. So I think a lot of players don't really bother picking up that knowledge. I know I've looked it up before, but it's just something that you use so sparingly that it's never really stuck in my mind. Okay, so goals. 5 crystals enter GT. Defeat all of Ganon's bosses. Oh,
there we go.
Baby.
All dungeons. So we had to beat Aghanim either way today.
So, again, it's not great that JTB doesn't know the goal. That is going to be an advantage for Chelsea, but it's also not the end of the world considering what the goal is. Because if JTB just even tries to kind of go for where the progression is, like he just focuses on completable dungeons, hey, a fire rod, he'll be working towards the goal anyway. Which is kind of why I mentioned that the minimum crystal requirement being 3 crystals means that if you really want to be a little risky, you can kind of try to ignore the goal until you get 3 crystals and hope it's not a pedestal goal, because then you're just kind of screwed. But until you cross that 3 crystal threshold, it's not really going to hurt you unless it's a pedestal goal.
So, I've seen now 3 green 20s. Could still be hard mode if that was a male, and a sword in that specific combination, but we're looking more and more like expert mode.
Yeah. I've done my fair share of like expert and hard item pools, but I still can't tell you exactly like how many hearts do you cap out on in expert? 9? 8?
I want to say 8, and then 13 or 14.
I was gonna say, yeah, I think 9. Okay, Kuturi is backing me up in chat. I thought it was because that's enough to survive like 1 Ganon hug if you have full health. Which, I mean, hopefully you aren't taking Ganon hugs if you're playing expert mode. But you can still take one.
I mean, it's easier to take a Ganon hug when you're still sitting on Master Sword. $300 in Lumberjack. Not that we could get that anyways, because we still don't have those booties. Oh, Chelsea's gonna check.
Gotta get them
Dark
booties.
Cross, which I don't think JTB did.
No, but he is coming towards
he's gonna
the
get there.
backside of the scape here, so
yeah,
they might share a little high five.
Yeah, and he's doing this the right way. You go in, you check the chest here, see what the item is, and then if it's a small key, like we got here, you're able to go through the back to Dark Cross.
Yeah, so Chelsea's going to be able to check this chest, and then she's going to have to bail. Hey, what a chest it is, though!
Is that a mitts?
That was, in fact, the mitts. Yeah, and here's JTB just walking on up into Graveyard Ledge. As I mentioned earlier, some of these mirror locations, actually pretty much all the mirror locations are just swapped around. Like Graveyard Ledge, Checkerboard Cave, and Cave 45, you can just walk on up into in the light. So in kind of that respect, the mirror loses some value in Inverted, but it gains value in the fact that mirror is all you really need to get to Misery Mire. The flute is all but useless in Inverted.
Flute. Depending on when it comes up in Inverted, the flute is often not worth spending the time to go even activate.
Yeah, the flute in Inverted is really bizarre. You get it wherever you get it, and then you activate it in the light world, but since it's inverted, you use it in the dark world. And you kind of just end up in the same spots you would as if it were normal, but you're in the dark. And it's far less convenient, and it makes me sad.
Yeah, part of the reason it's not so useful is like Flute Spot 8, the bottom right corner of the map. In the light world, there's a lot you can do there. You can go to Ice Rod Cave, you can get to Ice Palace, you can get to Zora area quickly, and you don't have all those options if you're in the dark world, and you don't even have a portal to the light world there. Each location is just a little less functional.
Yeah. Because normally, I mean, the great part of the flute is that it helps you get around the world a lot faster, and Inverted pretty much nixes almost all of that function.
Right, so players doing very different things here. Chelsea getting that,
speaking of that
flute.
flute.
And some other garbage so far.
Hey!
Well, okay, I take that back. Mirror and Mini Moldorm is a good.
Yeah, the Mini Moldorm Cave Redemption there. That was all trash, and then the mirror showed up.
And JTB is running around in Death Mountain now. Yeah, there you go, on the right. Hop down. And I think we're going to see the Paradox Cave play from him.
Yeah, so, and this is another kind of change in Inverted as well, is getting over to East. Normally you would need either the hook shot or the mirror and hammer. Inverted, you pretty much just need the mitts. Hey, and there's a hook shot. Ice Rod Cave. So, South Light World having a lot of value here, picking up the mirror and the hook, which is going to be real nice for Chelsea, because when she heads up over to Death Mountain and checks some of these things that JTB is doing, she'll be able to full clear out Hookshot Cave while she's up.
Yeah. And having that mirror is going to come in handy when she finds Kena Samaria in Paradox Cave. If she wants to, she can then just leave Paradox and mirror into Turtle Rock and I guess clear out everything in that dungeon except for the boss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Turtle Rock is one of the things I think is, I already mentioned earlier, is one of the more interesting changes of Inverted. It's pretty fun being able to mirror into the back and kind of just entirely change the way you route through that dungeon.
But JTB has a hammer, which Chelsea didn't get from Race Game yet. So he's able to take that, go over to Hera, and this is guaranteed full clear for a crystal. Hey, Swerb,
Yo.
remind me,
That
where
means-
was that fire rod?
Oh, don't worry. I've been racking my brain over for about 10 seconds too. Looking at chat there, I was like, yeah, you're right. Chelsea doesn't have the fire rod. And I was trying to, like, work through the logic of if she was going to go find it before
Yo,
she goes up
thanks, chat, with the save telling us it was in Blind's hut. You guys are my
Okay.
friends.
there. Yeah, shoutouts to chat. Yeah, I had a feeling it was somewhere silly like that, like where it's, yeah, Chelsea will find that before she goes up to Dark. Death
Maybe,
Mountain, I would think.
probably. Ooh, there is a
Probably.
bow on Zora Ledge. That is going to be nice. And there's
Man,
the
all these
last big
red
20
rupee
she
drops.
needs.
Oh,
Is that Boots and Hera chest?
I got some speedy shoes, yeah. Alright. Shoutouts to Frostbite 3030 for reminding us Fire Rod was in Blind's hut. Oh! You hate to see it.
Ugh, that's a long fall for JTB.
Yeah, it's God, it's the worst. I feel bad. Like, it's just so demoralizing.
Yeah, you have two options in this fight. You can do hammers or you can do Master Sword spins. It's 3 hits either way, but Voldarm, if he decides he's going for you, he just goes for you and does not let up.
Okay, meanwhile, Chelsea walking out of the Zora area, she's gonna go turn in this mushroom. Well, it's not likely to be a factor. It does eliminate the chance to do fake powder, which JTB has the mushroom and cane set up for.
Okay. We got through the fight.
Oh, and the mushroom for the book.
Interesting. That makes Desert Palace clearable. Book is what hard required for Desert Palace in inverted mode because we can't mirror from the Dark World.
Hard requirement for desert. And then Bombo's tablet is another thing that's changed. I mean, Chelsea does have the mirror, which you would normally need for Bombo's tablet, but inverted, you can just walk on up there and check it. And it also obviously opens up Ether Tablet, which just means whenever Chelsea does get up to Death Mountain, she's going to be able to check even more things that JTB couldn't. But boy, does she have a lot of options at this point, so who knows when she'll make up that way.
Yeah, we have really seen these runners separate. Chelsea doing all this South Light World stuff. Generally a bunch of overworld checks. JTB clearing out some Death Mountain stuff and Tower of Hera. And both of them finding a lot of stuff.
Yeah, this is where things are starting to get really interesting. So we mentioned we did have like kind of a tedious linear seed for the first 40 minutes or so as our players had to be jerked around all over the Dark World.
JTB what?
I couldn't even comprehend what that was, so I
think
just
he
going
went
to
up to
ignore it.
the castle looking for his goal signs and couldn't find them. He was looking on the ground instead of up on
Oh,
the
that
top.
makes sense. Yeah, again, like I know Chelsea did one of these yesterday. She did inverted, so she has a bit more fresh memory of how the mode. These little details might be escaping JTB. So he like went over to the left side, which I don't know, and there is that little extra entrance over there because that's where you pop out from Ganon in an inverted mode. But then he decided to bail. Meanwhile, Chelsea is working through Eastern Palace. She knows that the goal is all dungeons, so the fact that this is a pendant isn't going to stop her from clearing it right now when she can full clear it. The only downside is she's missing that hammer from Race Game, otherwise she'd be able to hop over and do pod immediately afterwards as well.
That would be the dream. So yeah, as we come up on an hour in, if you've missed the first half of this, we had an incredibly linear start to an inverted seed. It's looking like hard or expert item functionality. Sorry, item pool. Inverted mode. We need 5 crystals to get into GT, and then all dungeons to defeat Ganon.
Yeah, it's looking pretty heavily like that it's got to be expert as, which would mean Chelsea is 1 heart away from her max health. And again, I'm not super familiar with, like, despite the fact that I've done a handful of expert, so, like, particularly because of mystery seeds, I'm never fully clear on how the pool's affected. I don't know if she's missing a heart container or if she's missing heart pieces.
Yeah, we should have started counting heart containers at minute 1 of this race.
Because there was a heart container on Bumper Ledge. So, 5.
Fire up your time machine with me. Let's go back in time an hour and warn everyone about that. Okay, let's take my time machine to when your time machine is finished.
Hey man, I don't have a lot of rules in life, but messing with time and fate is not one of them. You're on your own, bud.
Yeah, the raccoon gets mad if I do that in my game.
He's gonna yell at you. Man, I fired up Animal Crossing yesterday. It's the first time really playing one since the GameCube, and I'm glad Tom Nook is the same as I remember him.
Still up to his old tricks.
Just hustling. Alright, so JTB's wrapping up his flippers checks here. He'll be swimming over towards Zora. He is missing some money, but the big prize was that bow on the ledge. I don't even remember what Zora gave.
But it wasn't very good. It's okay, we'll see it again in instant replay as JTB does it here.
Yeah, well, he does need almost 60 rupees, but if he farms up, well, okay, he needs 40. Alright, he needs 20.
He needs that same big 20 drop that Chelsea got when she was farming Zora's, which, since Zora's drop, it might actually happen here.
They were dropping it left or right, but JTB doesn't know that. But he's gonna see that bow, and that's gonna be good enough. Okay, he's going for some kills. Out checking stun drop. You got a heart.
And there we are.
There's the big 20.
Wow. Good work, runners.
Alright, meanwhile, Chelsea did finish up Easter. Got her pendant. And now she's heading over to Kakariko. She's gonna clear this out. She'll get her fire rod. She should get her hammer from Race Game. And then, honestly, we'll see what she decides to do. She could head right back on over to Pod and clear that out if she... This is actually one of the situations where that flute could be useful and inverted. Because she could activate it here and then mirror to the Dark World and flute back over to Pod if she wants to.
Yeah,
but
there's
still... Fire Rod will open up Skullwood.
There's still kind of enough to do in this seed that the minute you spend... 30 seconds you spend unlocking your flute when you're already in the village is worth it.
Yeah, especially getting over to the eastern side of the map still time-consuming and inverted, so... Okay, JTB turning in his mushroom as well, so we are going to see fake powder on either side. But since his mushroom gives the book, it's going to be a good call.
That'll be worth. And JTB has boots, so he knows if he goes to desert, he can beat that for sure. Chelsea might be a little wary of it if she's worried about the boots lock potential.
Yeah, and again, for anyone that missed it, the boots were in the big chest of Hera. So, and Chelsea does have a lot sitting up on Death Mountain available to her, so we might see that sooner or later, but as I just mentioned a minute ago, she's got a lot of options. So I could see her going literally just about anywhere at this point.
Yeah, so at this point, I feel like JTB is running around with a bit of a lead. He's got all the items Chelsea has, plus the boots from Hera and the cane from Spiral Cave, or Paradox Cave.
Yeah, and they're tied up in dungeons as well.
They are. I think, the question's going to be, what, are we just an Ice Rod from Go Mode at this point? Maybe a Meyer Medallion?
Yeah.
Also, shoutouts to Sync at the flute statue, an hour and 5 minutes in. Like, that
Chelsea's screen is a little frozen, but yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, if this comes down to an Ice Rod hunt, the one difference we might still see is that Chelsea starts hunting it in dungeons, particularly pendant dungeons, because she knows she has to beat them for the goal, and JTB doesn't necessarily do that because he doesn't know this is all dungeons.
Yeah, that's the big advantage that Chelsea has in her back pocket right now, is that she actually knows the goal. The biggest component of which right now at the moment is that 5 crystal requirement to get into GT. Turtle Rock, not going to be required before then, necessarily. It's a pendant, so Ice Rod could be in GT.
Well, JTB knows we don't have a ped goal, does us the service of checking the ped and finding out it's a heart container, and I like this play, though I don't like the mirror bonk. But I like checking the ped, mirroring to Skull Woods, and getting a crystal here before he flutes away to somewhere else.
Yeah, this is actually really good routing. Really good inverted routing on his...
And, just this time getting out of Skull Woods here almost makes up for all the time he spent on the flute in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. So the question will be, where's he going to go from here? He could flute over to the eastern area, and you'd be able to clear out both eastern and pod. But again, it's that lack of knowledge for the goal of this. That's going to make him a little hard to predict at this point.
JTB going for hammer strats on Moth, getting dinged a lot by these spikes. Still needs to land a hit or two with the hammer. Moth
when he
not
just
playing
down there, like, this is terrible. Stop it. Oh my god, dude.
Good clutch play. He had that spin lined up so well, and Moth was coming at him, and then just juke north. Like, what is that?
Oh man. Okay. there's JTB's third crystal. So this is the number I mentioned earlier, where at this point, I would really, really like to know the goal if I were JTB.
Yeah, I mean the odds are very slim, but you know, for all he knows, GT could be open. It could be beat the game time right now. That said, I do like what he's doing here with the whole eastern and pod area. Or is he just doing Saha?
Nice, you can have this trash.
Okay, yeah, he's done Saha. Looks like he's going to go back to Eastern, probably mirror and finish pod, and then go and beat Eastern. Or at least scout Eastern.
Yeah. See, oh man, this is weird. Because again, without knowing the goal, it's just I don't know. It's hard. Because obviously this is a great thing to do, given the goal is all dungeons. If he clears out pod and he clears out east, but it's a very weird thing to do without knowing the goal.
The pod play.
Well,
I totally get, no matter what. Unless you're looking at some weird 3 crystal option, which is what, like 10% or something. You know you're going to have to beat a 4th crystal, so assume
Yeah.
you want to beat pod.
Oh, absolutely. The pod part of it makes sense, but it's mirroring or like heading back into the light world from here and doing Eastern would be a little bit weird. Especially considering like he doesn't know that it's all done. He knows it's not a pedestal seed, so the only reason he'd need to do Eastern at this point is for all dungeons. And especially with Turtle Rock being a pendant, you would only need the Ice Rod unless it's all dungeons.
Yeah, exactly.
And so this is where
he
knowing the goal-
didn't do the stair dash.
the Samari yet.
I want to talk about that. Now I'm going to talk about how he didn't do it.
Yeah, please tell me. I was actually thinking about this yesterday. I watched a video on it, but I haven't done it, so it's not stuck in my brain.
Very simply, you stick a Samaria block that's not lined up with an auto stairs. Usually, what you do is you'd stick it right on the spot for the blue crystal switch blocks, and that blocks the beetles from coming in. Then you just walk along the edge of a pit, kind of like you're setting up a water walk in Ice Rod Cave, except it's a horizontal line instead of a vertical one. You dash north, and you just get propelled through those blocks. Looks pretty cool. Makes the room a lot cleaner.
Yeah, and it's a very simple trick, and it saves a ton of time compared to doing it the way JTB did it.
Hard hat beetles hate him. Try this one weird trick.
Because it doesn't seem like it's not, in the grand scheme of things, it's not a ton of time, but it's going to save you several seconds having to run down here, transition to room, transition back, having to hit that switch. Like it adds up.
So, JTB skip Dark Maze?
Well, that's what I was kind of trying to get at without knowing the goal. He knows it's not a pedestal goal. Like I said, the only reason he's not in go mode is because it's all dungeons, but he doesn't know that. Because at this point, he can grab. Well, I guess we don't know the Meyer medallion as well, so that's the other kind of unknown.
We can find that out nice and quickly. Heck, we can even flute to Meyer. But, you know, this is so interesting. If Ice Rod was just in Dark Maze, that's like curtains for JTB. If Ice Rod's anywhere else in the game, JTB just accidentally saved himself 3 checks, 30, 45 seconds a time. This is going to keep working out for him really well until it doesn't.
Yeah. And of course, I mean, I mentioned it earlier, but Ice Palace, very likely going to be in GT, honestly. There's just so many locations there, and it's open at 5 crystals.
Yeah. Yeah, let's talk about that. So normally, Ganon's Tower has what, like 22-ish chests in the basement. But ooh,
Yikes!
bad death till the Helmasaur tail there. Shoutouts to that fair we got in K45.
Coming in clutch. So yeah.
But we put a bunch of junk in GT because we don't want things like good swords or other useful safeties showing up there. But every time...
Most people
in theory, the randomizer algorithm devs don't want that to happen.
Because there was a version like 6 versions ago where that happened a lot and people did not like it.
Yeah. But because the tower might open before 7 crystals, every crystal that's not required for GT kind of lowers the amount of junk and increases the value of GT. So you're totally right. With 5 crystals, the odds of Ice Rod showing up there just get higher and higher.
Yeah, it's... Drosy in chat pointing out 5 GT means 10 junk. There's 27 items in GT altogether, so that's 17 non-junk items, which makes that by far the densest item location available in the game.
Whoa, somehow I completely blanked on this. Chelsea just beat Desert. Guess it wasn't boots locked.
Yes, that brings her up to 3 dungeons altogether and 2 crystals.
Yeah. Oh, now, speaking of progression items that can be in GT, that Quake is looking mighty suspicious right now for GT as well.
Yeah, So with that Quake required for Meyer, that does make skipping those few checks in pod a bit scarier. Because now there's 2 items he has to worry about skipping instead of just...
Okay, Chelsea's up on the mountain, so if she clears everything she can up here, this is going to end up getting her a few things. She'll get Samaria from Paradox. She'll get, boots from Hera? And I guess that's just 2 things, but those are the 2 things JTB has that she doesn't.
Yeah, as well as a 3rd crystal from Hera. And she'll be able to check Hookshot Cave and Ether, which JTB didn't have the Hookshot or book when he was up here.
Oh, that's right.
So that's going to be some new checks. There's also Spike Cave if she wants to hop in there. She can mirror into some of the other entrances of Turtle Rock if she wants. So there's plenty to do up here. We'll see what she opts to do and what she opts to save for later.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a dip into Turtle Rock just because she knows she's going to have to get that big key eventually. So checking that out and maybe finding some items in Turtle Rock could work to her advantage.
Yeah. Because Turtle Rock is still 5 items. And being able to take alternative entrances lets you clear some of that a lot quicker. Like being able to just check the 4 items in Laser Bridge first, and doing that right away is a really quick 4 checks at this point in the game.
Yeah. I mean, there's also the awfulness that is Turtle Rock inverted mode, where you have to keep climbing through Paradox Cave just to get to other entrances, because the game hasn't given you the keys you need to move around. But nice fire rod strat from JTB on Lanmo. 6 shots straight into the heads. Takes that.
Yeah, that was a really nice fight on his side. And that's his 5th crystal, which he doesn't know it yet, but he now has access to GT.
Part of me is wondering if JTB didn't kind of blank on the idea that the goal could be a mystery. This has been kind of a straightforward inverted for so long that he might just be in that mindset of, right, the goal's what I'm used to, a normal 7-7.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a distinct possibility. JTV, I feel, isn't as... I know he's done some Mr. Seeds. I feel like he's not as familiar as Chelsea. Oh, but you can also save and quit right here. Well,
yeah, so saving and quitting with the mirror accidentally puts him up on the castle. And that'll do it.
Read the other sign, though. Nope. He's going in, which is fine. He's going to have to clear this. Yeah. But it'll be funny if he clears this and then drops into the Ganon hole and can't kill Ganon.
Yeah. I mean, strap in, folks. We have...
Oh, hey, look. Media big key. Is he going up? Oh, he's going
I really like this play, right? You got your 2 keys you need to beat the tower right at the start. Don't check anything else in the basement, because it's potentially wasted time. Just climb the top. Check those 4 chests at the end, because nothing about this climb is ever going to get better for him.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to have to do this guaranteed, and so he could just do this and find the Ice Rod and or Quake, which would be ridiculous, but it could happen. And again, he didn't read that other sign, so likely he thinks he's good to go. But it's not really going to hurt him, is the beauty of it.
Yeah. Worst case scenario in his mind is he clears the tower, drops into the Ganon fight, finds out that he hasn't completed his goal. He doesn't save and quit, and then reads the other sign to figure out his goal. I can't believe he accidentally saves and quits with the mirror. It's like, oh, I can do GT now, I guess. And then gets the first 2 chests. The God GT.
Very serendipitous. I'm still gonna need to ask some probing questions about taking an hour and 20 minutes to check the goal, though.
Hey, look, if it works.
And still only check half of it.
I should be nicer to JTB. I have to talk to him for 2 hours after you and I are done here.
Dude, I'm gonna tell him you were talking so much trash. I'm gonna be like, yeah, man, there was definitely some bias on Flylians. He was just going hard on you for like 2 straight hours.
Yeah, for those that haven't checked the schedule recently, we are in game 1 of a double header today. So immediately following this match, JTB's going to hop on the commentary mic, and Locke and Willard are going to duke it out?
Yes. So it'll be the same 2 teams. Channel. same channel, one of the same commentators. Phylon will be chatting with JTB over that game. It'll be exciting.
That's right, same teams. They wanted to knock these out in quick succession. Both these teams kind of in potential to shoot for dominance in their group right now.
Since we got this silly mess of a mystery, I can only imagine it's going to be tonal whiplash, and the next one's going to be like some like 3 crystal like easy seed.
3 crystal fast Ganon. Bring it. So Chelsea doing some laser skips, gets some small keys and not much else in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, not much on the laser bridge, but 4 quick checks. The 2 small keys means she can work her way backwards if she wants. She'll be able to clear all the way to the front, which would be useful if the ice rod shows up, because then she could just mirror and finish the dungeon.
Oh, there's the big key. So at any point she can also mirror here and finish the dungeon. But moment of truth for JTB. Does he get something great out of the top of GT? Not yet. Still not yet.
Yeah, we do got one more check coming up here after Moldorm too. But as we mentioned, even if he doesn't find anything up here, this is going to be stuff he's going to have to clear. So no time lost, really. Hey. You just liquidated Moldorm's bank account after murdering him.
It's a nasty place for that money when we were both runners were a little starved for cash earlier on.
Ooh, JTB having a little bit of trouble with Ega 2. 3 singles in a row. Okay, there's an easy setup for a double. He just needs one more hit. And he's got a free setup here.
And
5 cycles, not great, but also this is like literally my worst fight at this point, I think. So
it's a hard fight.
it is, and it sucks because it's like the people that are good at it make it look so easy and make you feel bad.
What's that mean with the lady and all the equations and the math and stuff? That's how.
Yeah, everybody.
That's how
everybody
Andy
that's
looks when he's doing this.
just is doing some insane Super Nintendo calculus. I will not die unless you complete your goals, Dingus.
All right, JTB confirmed as a dingus. But good news, he can. The sign's on the right.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know.
The sign's on the right.
He's going to the pyramid. He's gonna look for a sign here. See, this is what I was talking about early on with the inverted. Chelsea's been having a tough time with some deaths. That's costing her some time. But it does help that she actually knows the goal. And she knew where to look for the goal because she did one of these yesterday.
Yeah. you know, a lot of that stuff is just a little inconvenient to figure out your mirror spots. We saw JTB mirror bonk there. Knowing where the signs are, little bits of game knowledge that can change things.
And so the problem now is JTB knows it's not a pedestal seed because he checked it with the book. But he has no idea if he needs 6 crystals, 7 crystals, or all dungeons to actually beat game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he beats ice here and then drops in again to check things out.
Yeah, maybe he'll find the sign then.
Oh, hey, icebreaker. Cool.
Oh yeah, this is the other way to beat ice now.
Just pretend the door is a little longer than it actually is. Place the block move very precisely, and look, rail doesn't even matter. This is actually really good for checking the right side, because he didn't get to do it earlier.
Yeah, it makes clearing Ice Palace a lot more efficient. I'm really glad that this was added and improved for Rando, just because, especially like for a seed like this, it's great. We got to see both routes through Ice Palace, since they had to come in here earlier to find the Moon Pearl. JTB came in here earlier without the hammer. He was smart enough to realize he didn't need to bomb jump because it wasn't really going to matter. But then Chelsea showed off the bomb jump, and now we see Icebreaker. So we've just seen everything Ice Palace has to offer this seed.
Wait, we didn't get to see the vanilla way of solving it.
Well,
And
that's
I'm
not
okay
real.
with that.
The vanilla way doesn't
I
exist.
discovered Cane of Samaria.
Yeah, I don't think I've done that since I was a kid and played.
JTB does not have enough magic for the Fire Rod play. That's fine. We have Bombos.
Yeah,
he knows
and
he's got Bombos.
With Master Sword anyway, you're gonna want to break the shell of Bombos so you can get some Fire Rod shots on the actual eyes. So Fire Rod does gold sword damage to these puffs. Okay, nice spread out there, kind of weakened them all.
So he's got to be careful here. One puff hit is going to take him down.
Yeah, this fight, very scary in green mail. Sitting at 8 hearts.
Oh,
Chelsea, 4 hearts each.
Chelsea got bopped by a dead rock on Death Mountain there.
Yikes. That's pretty unfortunate. Is she gonna flute back up? No, it looks like she's thinking about going elsewhere. I don't really blame her. She checked a lot of Death Mountain, and she has a lot of options. JTB pulling out that Cold Stare victory. Overall, pretty nice fight. It gets scary, like I said, when you have green mail. 8 hearts. Those puffballs do 4 hearts, and the ice, falling ice do 2. So you're only able to take a few hits there, and the Master Sword's not going to do a ton of damage to him. So good use of the Fire Rod.
Alright, that is 6 crystals on JTB's end. He knows at a minimum... he's going to probably try the Ganon fight again here. And then he'll know at a minimum he still needs Quake. Or he's just going to walk away.
Oh, he has...
I like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good. Really do want to see him check this goal, though. Like, he's pretty far ahead from Chelsea at this point, so if he checks his, I think he'll be in a really good spot.
Yeah, I'm a little thrown by Chelsea's routing at this point. She's doing a lot of overworld stuff still. When she's got just crystal dungeon after crystal dungeon, she can clear, and pendant dungeons as well when she knows she has to do them all.
Yeah. And again, like I said, I joined Chelsea as well as Wood and Locke that are going to be racing after this in a Mr. Seed, and a couple other people last night. And landed on Inverted, where the vast majority, almost everything in that seed was in the dungeon. So, and even talking to her afterwards, she was like, yeah, if I had just done like focus on dungeons and did things in a little different order, it probably would have gone away. So it's a little disheartening to see her not focusing on dungeons.
Yeah. So JTB making a powerful play here. There's a lot of chests in GT. And look at that Quake right there.
And he's going to bail because he doesn't know about Turtle Rock.
He doesn't know he needs Ice Rod, but that's a good spot for Quake.
Okay, I would see. This is also what I was going to say. Like, Chelsea's routing is a little bit questionable, and she's lost a lot of time to deaths over. But JTB's like giving her that time back by just not knowing the goal. Because I was wondering if he was gonna think, oh, it's just got to be 7 crystals to kill Ganon.
I think he's in that mindset right now. So he's gonna beat Meyer here, and then go back to the fight, get called a dingus, and that'll tell him for certain it's an all dungeons goal. So
Yeah.
Honestly, for not being able to figure out his goal, he's done this almost scientifically. Like, good approach to making sure you get there. It's just not ideal. I think best case for him is that this is a bad mire, where like we get our items early, and then the big key is on the right side or something. So he checks everything and finds out that Ice Rod either is or isn't here definitively.
Getting beamed in Mire 2. Not great, but thankfully it's not really anywhere in the dungeon yet, so as far as dying in Mire goes, that's about as inoffensive as it gets. And you're totally right, because if we find like a first key, our first chest big key, like if it's on that little broken bridge or in that spike chest, he's gonna go straight to the back and kill Vitreous. Which he's just leaving items in his wake that any one of them could have Ice Rod. Because there's a few checks in Palace of Darkness that he didn't do. He'd end up with a few checks here. He's got, like 15 left in GT or something.
Yeah, and he has a substantial lead at this point. He's got 6 dungeons completed to Chelsea's 4. So that's a pretty large lead, plus the entire GT climb done. The only thing that can stop him at this point is some really bad Ice Rod hunt, where he just doesn't get back there in time.
Yeah. I think like the worst possible scenario we'll likely get an answer to in just a little bit here, which would be Ice Rod in like Dark Maze and Pod here.
Yeah.
So as long as that's not the case, JTB will be in a very good spot. Chelsea not going through that.
I think she tried to do the stair extension.
I think she was going for the swag bonked Samaria and detonate it to hit that swag.
Oh yeah, she would do that too. That's one of her signatures.
And while we're focusing on that, JTB taking another death in line. Yeah, just these late game Dark World dungeons is really where you start to notice the effects of being an expert item pool. Green mail, 8 hearts. Not a ton of defense once you are in these late game dungeons where things start hitting you for 3 or 4 hearts apiece.
Yeah. Knowing your anti-parries like that goes a long way to recovering that health as you lose it.
Okay, and there's the big key. JTB's in the head of the back. Did he find any items here? Chat? Phylon?
Don't think so, but let's ask chat.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Hey, Swerve, you know what sucks about inverted mire?
Well, you can do the all dungeon spooky, but
Oh, is there an all spooky?
no. You know what sucks about not being able to talk?
That sound that you
Trying
just
to do
made.
commentary. Yeah, well, in all dungeons, you just like throw a Samaria block in a pit.
Like that.
But well, okay, this is another one that you can just do independently. But I'm not exactly sure how it works. I don't think he does either. Because in all dungeons, you would throw the Samaria block in the pit above the room where you normally need Samaria to press the button. To set that like z-axis or y-axis variable that you're trying to set up for the fire rod. And then you still do the kick up the dust, place the Samaria on the switch, and then you can do spooky for that one specific room.
Hey, chat, you know what's great about commentary with Swerve? I learn things.
But JTB, there is another one. This one I actually don't know, so I can comment on it too much, but you can do a setup where you throw the block in the pit like JTB. But I thought there was some other component to it because you're not doing the dusting. Or maybe you can just throw it in there. I don't know. I only half know things, so that's the fun thing about doing commentary with me. I half know things, and then I pretend like I know more things.
And you had me convinced.
Well, yeah, and then I've got to be open, though. I don't want to be spreading misinformation.
Right. JTB handling this biddy fight just fine. Just had to make sure that I didn't hit him again, and we are through that. Doesn't even matter that we don't have enough arrows for the whole second phase. We're going to use some hammer strats. You got some options with Master Sword. You can either just slash away, or you can use hammers. Slashes being way safer, but taking about twice as long.
Yeah, but again, sitting at 4 hearts there is a little scary. You don't want to game over in Vitreous.
No.
It's a long walk back, so playing it safe is the way to go there. He could have opted to throw some bombs to weaken up all those arrows, or weaken up all those eyes and finish them off with arrows. But sometimes it's, you know, you don't really think. I rewatched the, what I could of the race I did last week where you and Chelsea commentated. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned that, and I was like, oh yeah, I could have done that.
Sorry, done what? I got lost with what JTB's doing.
Use some bombs to weaken up the little eyeballs before finishing them off.
Yeah, it's a good strat. Sorry, I got lost because JTB had some trouble figuring out how he wanted to get to the castle. You know, one option is flute to 6, use the portal and then save and quit, but you don't bank any health there. But JTB's fluting to 4, going into the light world, and swim it over to Potion Shop to stock up. This is a good play when you're prepping for a Master Sword Silverless fight.
Yeah. Again, he's at 8 hearts, so margin for error is low. He's only got 1 bob.
And there we are, the save and quit in the light world. Gonna put him right outside the castle.
Alright. Everyone get ready to laugh. Because JTB is about to be a double dingus. Immediate save and quit.
I like the determination in that save and quit. There isn't even a hesitation. There's just the, all right,
Yep.
this is my life now. We're doing this.
He knew that was like a possibility. Oh!
Oh! Oh!
Oh!
Oh!
He found it. He found the elusive sign. And now he's probably like, oh, well, that would have been helpful to know.
So what do you do in this scenario? You go straight to Swamp Palace.
Thou art a fool. Yeah, go straight to Swamp Palace. Go to Eastern after this. And then we'll just have to find that ice rod.
I might swap the order around, just because a full clear of Eastern is not necessarily much faster than a go mode. But this will still work out fine.
True. But as my dear friend Fabian put it last week,
oh my god, I did.
6 is more than 3. Of course, you're comparing it to Ice Palace, which is a totally different scenario. But
yeah. 3 in ice is different from 3. Especially 3 in caneless ice is different from 3 in Eastern Palace. But I appreciate the call out. And besides, we know this will work out. We know Ice Rod isn't in Eastern anyways.
yes, we know that. Obviously, JTB doesn't know that. So not really a factor in his reasoning here. But I do. The 6, and it's, I don't know, man. Swamp Palace, it seems to be a hot spot for ice rods and fire rods sometimes when you're missing one of them. Of course, that's anecdotal and not really based on. It's just how I feel.
I swear, your feelings are cool sometimes.
Thanks, man.
So let's talk about that ice rod. Where the heck can it be?
Literally anywhere. Like, that's actually... This is when,
we
like,
say that,
the lower crystal requirements for GT is a little scary, because it's literally anywhere but on Trinex.
Yeah. Well, it's not on Sahasrahla. We know that, at least.
Okay, fine. Or the other location that is unlocked by killing Trinex.
which I think proves your point even better.
Yo, alright, that was a nice cold stare fight for Chelsea.
That was a good use of Fire Rod. Alright, so it could definitely still be here in Swamp Palace. Could be, I think, a remaining item in Mire. JTB skipped Dark Maze in Pod, but we saw Chelsea clear that out, so it won't be there.
We still have some stuff in Turtle Rock, too, I believe, right? Did Chelsea clear everything?
I think she cleared everything. She was having tech difficulties at the time, but...
Yeah, and I know she died somewhere in Death Mountain.
Yeah.
Did we see Mimic Cave? That's what hacked me yesterday.
Don't know if anyone did the hop down to
Oh wait, no,
Mimic
it didn't
Cave.
actually hack me. I just forgot about it and then ended up being nothing.
Remember, I know you know this word, but chat, remember that in Inverted you get to Mimic Cave by hopping down in the light world, which is a little weird.
Nice. Bomb diver down for JTB here. This saves a few seconds, checking left side swamp here. It's another cool new trick to the rando.
Remember the old days when we used to panic when we flooded the key? Well, worry no more.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting. Those rooms with what looks like water, most of it is actually not water. It's just a texture that looks like. There's just a single water tile or 2 water tiles or something like that at the bottom of those auto stairs and the ladders and stuff. That when you jump into and out of, the game goes, oh, you're swimming now, or oh, you stopped swimming. So if you're able to bypass touching those tiles, you can just walk on the other stuff that looks like water, but isn't actually water. And doing a little bomb clip into that rail and jumping down lets you flood that key and then go grab it anyway.
Shoutouts to Chelsea throwing a bottle in and getting a blue potion when she did the Pyramid Fairy check. That works out well. Oh, and she is doing GT.
Yeah. She's got 5 crystals. She hasn't been here yet. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff we haven't seen.
Mm-hmm. So I think the play you make is you open those first 2 chests and then you still climb the tower like JTB did.
Absolutely.
Because again, you know you have to do that. And if your items are at the top, you just saved your time. And then we might see her go back in and check the whole basement. Or she's just going to clear things now.
Another very kind of interesting component to Inverted that you don't see come up is actually that exact scenario where climbing GT just makes more sense because you're going to have to do it anyway. And then after you finish GT, you're going to be popped out essentially at the entrance of GT.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in normal, like open or standard mode, it'll plop you down into the pyramid. So climbing all the way back up to GT takes forever. And so in that scenario, it can make a lot more sense to just full clear GT while you're up there.
Yeah, you're right.
It costs you the climb to get back up there, but doing it here, it doesn't really cost you anything.
But look what she's doing. Look where she's hanging out. I think this is the effect that all those deaths she's taken already are having. This effect of, okay, well, better check tile room first.
Love it.
And it's a unique item.
Yeah. Yeah, that sure is unique. I don't know. I guess this is expert item pool, so catching a fairy could be.
Yeah, it's doable. Didn't get all the torches lit in time, so they went out on her.
I would fully have to agree with you that it does seem like a play made out of desperation of all those deaths she's taken.
What I will say is that, unlike a lot of runners in this league, myself included, who feel behind, so they make that gamble, even though they're not already behind. That is the right call here. She's correctly estimated the cost of her deaths.
Oh!
And there's the ice rod on the right side.
And now she just got to go left and get Quake, and she'll be in go mode. So that was actually, yeah, I was just gonna say it makes a lot of sense when you're feeling behind to do that. And she is behind, as you pointed out, but she's not that far behind, especially when you're in an ice rod hunt where everything can be so swingy depending on when you find it. And I don't know, I don't think it'll be that long until JTB comes back to GT to finish it out, but who knows? He's got Eastern after this at the very least.
Well, that's go mode for Chelsea. JTB going back in for left side swamp.
And okay, here's another thing to consider too. The dungeons Chelsea has remaining, Swamp Palace and Skull Woods, both very quick to go. Meyer's going to take a little bit. The big key on that was on the left side, but it was the north room, not the slow cutscene room.
Yeah, it's like a mid-tier Meyer.
So, yeah, it's not a godly go mode mire, but it's also not as slow.
Big Key and Turtle Rock was in the Crystal Roller room. So JTB starts at Laser Bridge, checks that, and then goes up to Crystal Roller. He'll be done with that dungeon very quickly.
Yeah,
minus the travel time.
Assuming he does that. I mean, Turtle Rock is one of those things that is weird and inverted, and so I know I'm hammering this point home, but I know JTB isn't that familiar with inverted, and so we'll see how he approaches Turtle Rock when he gets there.
Well, and there's also the potential of he finishes Eastern Palace, goes straight to Turtle Rock, ends up doing the full clear.
Ooh. Yeah, because that's the kind of decision he's gonna have to make. Because he might also not be feeling, like, he could be feeling behind too because of the way he is approached not knowing the goal. Like, all of the returning to Ganon and getting called a dingus, and yeah, it's which is like where decision making starts to be a little less logical.
Chelsea, A, she picked up a second bottle somewhere that I didn't notice. B, got down to half a heart there. But this will work out. If she wants, she can powder this anti-fairy and then use the bug net from Tile Room. Wanted her to do that.
Okay, so got Chelsea climbing to GT, JTB working through Eastern. So JTB does have... Okay, so Ice Rod is right side GT. JTB could go to Turtle Rock, hoping Ice Rod is there. Wouldn't be that weird of a decision.
No, that would be, I think, the smart call to do.
He does have the few checks in Pod, and he's at Eastern right now. He could mirror over and knock those out. Otherwise, he won't be coming back until last locationing, which won't happen. But what else does he have available?
Maybe an item still in Mire.
Oh yeah, that he's not going to go there anytime.
No, I think he bails on that.
I don't. He might have like an occasional overworld stuff. Like I know, like Ether never got checked, which just lends more credence to going up to Turtle Rock. Because I don't know if he ever returned for Hookshot Cave either, right? So
no, he didn't.
Yeah, Turtle Rock is looking more and more like the likely play.
Yeah, and I really Hookshot Cave partly because inverted Turtle Rock is kind of like Mire. Bear with me on this. But in that you don't know where your big key is going to be, you might have to search for it a while. So looking for your last go mode item there doesn't suck if you end up taking forever to find the big key.
Chelsea going for the Mold Arm 2, however. Unsuccessfully. Grabbing a fairy from that anti-fairy below Mold Arm 2. I like that.
Yeah. I was going to say JTB has done a very clean back of Eastern. And then Armos Knight's got a little out of whack for him. So good recovery on that fight to bring it home eventually. All right. JTB, where are you going? Where are we going?
I think he's gonna, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna go grab the. This is relatively.
It's relatively quick, and if you don't do it right now, it is never quick again.
Yeah. and then he'll mirror out, and let's see. The two big decisions right now is between GT and Turtle Rock. I really wouldn't question either one, but I think if I was in his situation, I would personally be leaning towards Turtle Rock, which is the incorrect play. It's interesting that JTB paused.
He was checking to see
Saw
if
that he didn't see the map, and then went and opened the big chest anyway.
Oh, oops. I knew that was why he paused, but I didn't read into what he should be doing there.
Okay, we got to save and quit, so this could be GT. Oh!
All right. This is great for JTB. This is exactly what he needed to do. He's going left. This is not the right way, but I don't think it's going to matter at this point.
No. And also, he got Quake and bailed, so there's a lot of stuff left side. It makes sense.
There's 2 more chests just in the Stalfos room.
Yeah, all that really matters is that he opted to go here instead of Turtle Rock. So things are looking really good.
Oh, can you imagine
JTB.
if he just opens these chests and finds the ice rod there? It would be so... I'm so glad he didn't have to do that, because that would just suck in his shoes. Ooh, Chelsea getting surrounded by Gibdos in the Mummy Hellway. With half magic, you just want to spam it. Or spam the fire rod, take them all out as fast as you can. Is that 2 bottles so far in the left side of GT?
Was watching the moth fight, so I'm gonna take your word. That would be our missing 2 bottles then?
Yeah.
Question
Also,
mark?
yeah, Chelsea did a 3-heart moth fight and only got hit once. Good work.
Yeah, it was a bit of a clinch there, but she pulled that out. Should be able to go knock out Swamp Palace fairly quickly.
Yeah.
But again, Myers gonna take a little while. Getting up to Turtle Rock's gonna take a little while. So she's not like if things continue on the path they are right now, she's not super far behind, but like she's not gonna she's behind though.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
By like a full dungeon or so. Which expert mode, Master Sword, Silverless Ganon isn't insurmountable. But it really is JTB's race to lose at this point.
Yeah, this is why those 2 bottles were really nice for JTB. In the event that he has any uncertainty about that Ganon fight, he can just load up on blue potions, and that'll go so far.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, you just gotta not hug the pig, because that is a one-hit KO.
And runs out of arrows and remembers, hang on, I got Fire Rod. And he can spam that pretty freely. There's going to be a full magic drop in a second on the right side. Okay, good. He didn't do tile room. Wait, no. No.
Oh,
JTB, no. No! I know you feel behind from all the everything that the seed did, but no.
hey, no. I was gonna give him the bug net.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
Grab the
worthless.
fairy if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But he does have that blue potion. I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, the fairy in a bottle is nice for the first 2 phases of Ganon. Just because you don't have enough health to even survive one hug. So the fairy's going to be your dream. I'm not sure why he just reset this room. He had plenty of time.
Chelsea's having a little bit of trouble getting this diver down to where there. So if the Samaria set up there, you want to place it left like she did, and then kind of go as far up as you can into that corner. And then you want to move down for 1 frame, which you typically do by pressing down and then immediately slashing. And then you want to move diagonal up left, and usually you menu to like the hook shot or something that you're going to need for Argus, so that you can make sure you're pressing up and left at the same time coming out of the menu. And there's the ice rod for JTB.
In go mode.
Now we just got to go find that Turtle Rock big key and bring her on home.
So Swerve, diver down. Icebreaker. These look pretty complicated. What if I told you? What if I told you that some of the people on the Link to the Past Randomizer Discord had made a wiki that had diagrams and coordinates for using in the practice hack to learn some of these tricks, so you could pull them off like these racers? What if I told you that?
I would say that sounds like a great resource to use.
Cool.
They do look a little tricky, and I think if you took a little look at that wiki and gave them a try, you would probably find out that they're honestly not that tricky. They're easier than some of the other tricks that were... Some of these bomb jumps that people are doing. Whew.
Yeah, a lot of these newer glitches look really weird because it's hard to see what the movements the players are doing are. So you try it yourself and it doesn't work. So if someone wants to just throw a link to the wiki in chat, that would be super appreciated. Because really, some of these tricks with 10 minutes you can learn once and then you've got them for good. Okay,
we do have JTB starting in the laser bridge here. So that was the last minor concern that I expressed.
Yeah, this is the right spot.
So he's just got to work his way backwards to Crystal Roller Room, where he'll get that big...
Oh no. Oh no, JTB.
Okay, now this is going to make things
the wrong direction.
Closer than they need.
This is not the...
Yeah, this is like the slowest thing he could have done, just about. Actually, it's worse than that because he can't even get the big key from any other entrance.
Oh my goodness, you're right. There's a big key door right after the big chest that blocks the rest of the dungeon.
So, yeah, and we have to remember, Chelsea already has the big key in Turtle Rock, so when she goes here, she just needs to go in that that laser bird entrance, go straight to Trinex and kill him. Which is why I was mentioning she's only about a dungeon behind, and I was specifically talking about Mire that she's in right now. And coupled with Yeah. Inverted shenanigans. This is well, we have a race.
We
Cool.
do have a race. Some of this is just going to come down to how Chelsea decides to route Meyer now. She does still have to like climb the whole mountain after this, so I think JTB still has a bit of an edge. But, you know, once she gets up that mountain, she can drop straight to Laser Bridge and go directly to Trinex. Hey, Swerve, you want to talk about Spooky again? I quite enjoyed your lecture last time.
God.
No is an acceptable answer.
You're trying to make me sound smarter than I am. I don't know. I wasn't. Did Chelsea set up for anything? I wasn't. I was watching JTB.
I don't know. It was something about all dungeons spooky and throwing
I
things
didn't
in
see
pits.
throw the block in the pit, but she can throw the block in this pit. Okay, that's not good.
No, that's not what you want to do.
Yeah, she's pulling out bomb. She's not doing spooky, but yeah, you can throw a block in a pit to set the value you need, which lets you just do spooky action glitch for this one switch here,
which is the most important one.
Yeah, it's the one of these three that's going to save you the most time.
All right, JTB coming back to Chomp Room with all the caution of someone who's just taken an unfortunate death in it.
Yeah, I've probably mentioned this about 80 times already, but again, we're at 8 hearts and green mail, and these late game dungeons, you start seeing enemies that do 3 or 4 hearts apiece. Those chomps do 4, so taking a death there is nothing to be ashamed of.
I like Chelsea using the bombs to soften up these eyes a bit first, but then she's not going arrow strats. She's going Master Sword, leg, cane strats. But that'll soften up the eyes, and this should be enough arrows now.
Yeah. The bombs don't do a ton, so I can understand her doing a little bit more swords. There's a couple spins too to help weaken them up. She doesn't have to really worry about conserving arrows anymore at this point, because they're useless against Trinex, and we don't have silvers for Ganon. So you would have liked to see her switch to him a little bit early, but still not a bad fight. Okay, so JTB is now stuck from this direction of Turtle Rock.
Yes.
And I think he's going to realize that right here.
So ideally, like he mirrors here.
Yes. It was actually a little weird. Like, that door is bizarre. I think it's like Misery Mire as well. The big key doors on the other side are small keys.
Yep.
And I don't know. Maybe that tripped him up somehow. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe he just wasn't. He probably just wasn't thinking about this crystal roller chest. These kind of things happen. So yeah, this is insanely close. Like, considering everything that's happened over the last 2 hours and 12 minutes, 13 minutes here. I also realized Chelsea's timer is like a minute behind.
Yeah.
So that's probably just her stream has lagged so much from all the connection issues we've seen.
Yeah.
That she could be ahead.
Yeah, I think it's safe to assume that her timer is correct. and it's just the sink
Out of sync.
that we
Yeah.
don't quite have. So we'll try to get full results as we go.
Yeah, the timer was something had messed up on Chelsea's overlay, and so it was displaying part of her tracker instead of her timer, but it's gotten fixed in just last few minutes, so we weren't really aware of the sync issues. So now they look dead even on stream, but Chelsea is likely a minute ahead.
Oh, we may be syncing things up here.
Okay, I see a try next.
That is definitely a try next.
Oh, there's one of the next. Oh, the other head disappeared.
All right, I think we're just bringing the runners into sync here to
Yeah, we're almost there.
to get the photo finish on this. Shout outs to SpeedGaming staff who have the technology to correct this actually pretty cleanly. There we are. Nice try next fight on Chelsea's side.
Yeah, shoutouts to restreamers and trackers and everyone involved in making this tourney run smoothly. So now we have a better idea of the actual gap here. Chelsea grabbing that final pendant just as JTB is entering the room.
Oh, don't save and quit there. That won't take you to Ganon.
Yeah, she wanted to mirror real quick first. Unless she's going to... I don't know. I would say buy potions, but that's also going to be inconvenient.
I mean, she doesn't know this. She doesn't have time to go buy potions right now.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Nor does she have time to take a death. You know what she would have had time to do? Is bonk that tree in front of the pyramid and farm a fairy or two.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alternatively, just fight Ganon really fast and don't get hit, ever.
Yeah, just game out of your mind. Uh-oh.
This is fine. I think she might still have a fairy from somewhere.
Okay, JTB finishing off Trinex with that hammer there.
Yeah, he used a potion to refill his health, which was good at the time, but he might want that for the Ganon fight.
Yeah, this is... Wow.
Hey,
This has been a
Swerve,
roller coaster of emotions.
what are the awful numbers we need for a Master Sword Silverless Ganon fight?
Oh. You don't need that much. You just need 12 spins for the first phase. And then another 12 for the second phase.
Mm-hmm.
4 for phase 3. That's nothing. What's 4 at that point?
That's easy.
Oh, and then that last phase, that's just a nice, smooth 24.
Isn't that a lot?
It's like, you know,
Can't
50.
believe she didn't get hit by a fire bat there.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Okay, does she still have a blue potion? Does she have the one she threw in, or did she end up using that? I'm just kind of looking at that magic. Well, I mean, the lamp... Okay, she does have a blue potion. Just use it. You aren't going to get all of your magic back... Or wait, it's item pool, not functionality, so never mind. I guess she's trying to save the... Oh, JTB is farming up those fairies.
Yeah. Now he has the extra bottle space for it.
Whoa,
Well, extra
Bucko!
bottles for it, not the space.
Did you find the arrows on planet Zebus?
You know, I like that. I like that text a lot more before we had combo randomizer.
Yeah, now it's just kind of confusing.
Alright, so I'm assuming Chelsea has the blue potion because she is fire rotting like crazy. Going for triples in the Ganon fight, which is good, but it does spend magic faster.
100% saw it in her active bottle slot, so I don't know what other goodies she has. She does have a second bottle. Both of our players sitting at 1 heart against Ganon. JTB obviously has some fairies, so he's not nearly as in danger. But wow, this is like...
This is fine.
This is not how I was expecting this to end. This is wild.
No. No, of all the ways this race could have come down, I was not seeing this happen. Right, JTB has the fairies.
Yeah, and there's the blue push on Chelsea's side, so she's good to go, as long as barring, you know, a fateful act.
The nice thing about Phase 4 Ganon is that everything does less damage than the first 2 phases, so you can still afford to get hit by Ganon and a Firebat once and be at 2 hearts.
Yeah, and he's just the most manipulatable, honestly, in this phase. So, it should hopefully just be feeling safer in general.
It's a couple more stuns than you want to have ideally in this fight, but that's all you need.
Pig blowing up. Wow, what a finish. What a wild ride that has been. Chelsea Dunning with an SR. Official time of 2:19:45, taking first place. What a gamer.
That, I'm just gonna breathe a little now.
Chelsea in the IRC chat, really doubling down on her file name. Using some choice language that I won't repeat on the air, but she did say, "I hate Fear, this is his fault."
Yeah, I think Fear is great, so.
Same, but it might also kind of be his fault. I don't know.
Alright, JTB still spinning, still spinning. Still got. Oh, hang on, JTB missed torch glitch here.
Uh-oh.
I mean, it's still doable. You can just use the lamp to light things. You just aren't getting triples or anything.
Yeah, I mean, the lamp doesn't use up that much magic, but when you need 24 spin, you gotta be a little careful here. Especially if you're only packing fairies and no blue potions. Having said that, I feel like we're going to be here for a few minutes. So, what's up, Chelsea?
Oh god. What was that?
Oh, that's what we in the biz call a clown show.
I don't understand what just happened.
It's an actual clown fiesta. I watched the whole thing, and I'm not entirely sure.
What in the... What? What is that?
What a wild ride.
Okay, first of all, today I learned that Bottle Merchant in bunny mode is in logic in inverted? What?
Yep.
What the heck? Also...
Sure is. Oh, no! There it is.
Yeah, there it be.
Yeah. I had a feeling that was coming, so I thought We didn't need to wait for JTB to finish.
You
this
read the
fight.
SRL.
Yeah. I cheated and got in here because I knew it was going to be a minute. And I wanted to talk to you guys and tell you guys how much I hated every minute of this.
Aren't you so glad we did that race yesterday?
Oh my
though,
gosh,
and it ended up being inverted.
You know, it didn't help though, because this was the weirdest seed of all time. The flippers to get over to pod, to get bombos, to go into ice, to get your heckin' moon pearl at like 50 minutes, and I knew I was behind. There's no way that I like got that in any way, shape, or form first. Like that was oh my god. I died so many times.
Honestly, at that point, it was only about 2 minutes behind.
Okay. Yeah, that was bad. I had to, so the reason that I died in Aga Tower is because I was slowly realizing that inverted is scary, so I had to switch my tracker, inverted map tracker, because I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So so that's why I died in Aga Tower, because I was trying to like flip my tracker over and also like play the game at the same time.
I don't blame you for doing that.
Yeah.
But I do have a slightly pointed question. Did you like not feel like you could wait until you were in the Ega fight, or you had just?
I was stressed. Okay.
Okay, that's fair. Hey, look, there's a magic in that tree. Did anyone else?
Was so. Yeah, Swerve. Did you know that?
I listened to you two commentate a match from last night in preparation for this, and I heard the call out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right. Swerve totally knew about that last week.
I mean, I knew when you asked me about it, didn't I? I just, I forget. That's why when I mentioned people having perhaps lapse in judgments or like knowledge, I don't blame them. I don't fault them because I do it all the time. This game just has that effect. But yeah, you were feeling behind, huh?
Yeah. My only thing that I felt good about was I knew JTB in the one mystery race we did last week. He had some issues with the Ganon requirements, like kind of knowing what was going on with that. So the only thing that I kind of felt okay with was the fact that I went to go see the Ganon requirements super quickly, and I feel like that may have saved my life.
No, that's literally what won you this game.
Yeah,
I
figured.
saw the dingus call twice, in fact.
He was called dingus twice? What happened?
Oh, I'll explain it.
He dropped in with 5 crystals.
Oh, because he thought that, okay. I was wondering if that would happen, if that would throw him off, because it's like in a weird spot.
Yeah, he had some trouble finding the signs in the first place, and then eventually, when he had 5 crystals, he saved and quit, ended up on top of Hyrule Castle, read the left sign that's visible when you spawn, saw that GT requirement was 5 crystals, cleared that, like he got the big key and a small key and just immediately climbed it, finished it, dropped into Ganon. Ganon was like, oh, you're a dingus, you can't hurt me. And so he bailed out. But he just didn't know the right side existed, because he got a 6th crystal.
Then got a 7th.
And then got a 7th.
And still didn't know it was all dungeons.
And then dropped in, got called a Dignus, and was like, oh, okay, this is AD. But
oh no.
Then he had to sort out.
Already dead.
Yeah. Then he had to sort out amongst everything else where Ice Rod could still be hiding.
Oh, dang. Oh, yeah, because that was... So my GT routing could not have gone better. I wish I'd done it sooner. That was the only thing, instead of, like, dingling around on the mountain for a bit. But, yeah, dang, dude.
But, yeah, that definitely helped even up some of those unfortunate deaths. I'm usually not one to try to boil it down to, like, this is the one reason someone lost, because there's... When you start looking over the course of the whole game, it's like a 2.5 hour seed. All kinds of like execution and all that kind of stuff starts to add up. But that was probably the single biggest thing that really threw a wrench in JTB's plan, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I got to go mode a bunch of dungeons, really. So that was great. I loved that.
Wow,
definitely... okay, that is not... that. I mean, that kind of was what I expected, but I didn't expect the double dingus.
Yeah, he visited again a few times. There was some other minor stuff that with inverted that might have tripped him up. Like he wasted a lot of time in Turtle Rock as well.
Oh,
yeah.
So
He did Laser Bridge, and then did the front,
Yeah.
and then came back to Crystal Roller after. And then he beat Ganon.
Yo, look at JTB. He's finishing the video game.
Yeah, good job, JTB. That was a rough one.
Get
Especially
your-
expert
yeah.
on top of everything else. Whew. But yeah, GG's JTB. Finishing with an SRL time of 2:27.52.
I'm excited to talk to him about this. We talked a little in Hex chat, but
Yeah, I see. Because he says in here. Okay, well, I guess we can just ask him because here he is. Hey, JTB, how's it going?
Did he just walk out of the room and come back? Is that his official statement on this?
oh, he's
Maybe
gone
he's trying to set up his mic.
yeah. While we're here, I would 100% like to blame Fear for trying to get both of us to forfeit. It's messed up. He made a joke in Hex chat before the, or actually JTB, I think, made a joke saying that
No, I joined after
I don't
you.
know. Yeah,
started, so I don't
someone
know.
made a joke about it being Fear's fault, and that Fear's trying to mess all of us up. And that the Lost Woods is all collusioned and stuff. I don't know, Philion, do you agree?
No.
Yeah.
But if there's collusion going on in the Lost Woods division, y'all need to let me in on that, because my team is not benefiting.
Um,
I think only Fear's team is benefiting.
It's actually your team taking home the win here too is going to make this doubleheader all the spice.
Yeah, super spicy, because now we're going to be all tied up, so whoever wins is going to be in a good old spot, so hopefully it's me.
All right, so JTB didn't have sound earlier, but he's back in here. What's up, JTB? Can you hear us?
I can hear you. I have this lawsuit in my hand. I'd like to know if I should be sending this to Synac or Fear regarding
Yes.
Yes.
those seed
Yes.
settings, because what the heck?
I would also like to press charges. I was so
Uh.
assaulted. I was assaulted from the moment I walked out of Link's house and saw that it was inverted, and it was the one thing I did not.
So I'm just going to jump straight to the heart of the matter here, JTB. I saw what you said in IRC. You want to talk about what you learned today about goal requirements in Mystery Inverted?
So last time I played Inverted was in the 2018 tournament, like 2 years ago.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, okay, there's no signs in there. I don't need to think about that. So, you get another one for this tournament. And I'm like, okay, I don't need to know about signs. I just need to remember where that portal to the light world is after killing Aghanim. But yeah, I learned the signs are on both sides. And I learned I should check that very early on. And then not have to gamble every single thing in the seed just to try to catch up. It was a fun time, to say the least.
Were you at all tripped up by the beginning in any way, shape, or form?
I think I last location the pearl
Yeah.
because I knew
I
that
can't
the
see a
merchant
way
was
where
there.
you wouldn't.
Yeah, I definitely went to Digging Game and over to Dark Death Mountain, East, whatever, before I went over to the ball merchant. So yeah, there was a lot
You
of
can do
learning.
that?
Yeah, you just gotta dodge those Lionels. It really sucks,
Ugh.
by the way.
Oh gosh, I just, I'm having anxiety just thinking about this seed again.
It was
Just the whole, everything about it makes me want to cry all over again. There was a minute around maybe the hour and a half where just I could not play the game. I was so frazzled by everything that was going on, and I was ready to go away forever.
that was my 2+ hours. So I'm sure a lot of people are like having to stay inside now. So like for myself, I'm not worrying about putting it on deodorant because I don't have to go out and see people. So I definitely, after I finished Ganon, I just kind of took a whiff. I'm like, oh, that's how much I've been sweating like the past hour for how difficult this has been.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little sweaty.
First off,
Swerve, are you sweaty?
I'm sure your wife loves that, JTB. And also, a little bit. I mean, it was a roller coaster of emotions watching you two. I'm not gonna mince words here. You probably heard, since you were, on a 10-minute delay, JTB. I don't know if you're listening to the end of the comms there, but yeah, it was. Chelsea took a lot of kind of additional deaths that cost her a bunch of time. Meanwhile, you had all of the shenanigans with not knowing the goal, and it was just it was a roller coaster to watch to see which one of those was going to be the bigger goof.
Only the best for Speed Gaming won.
And then again, I do think the inverted we raced helped out Chelsea a little bit. Because that was one of the big things I wanted to ask you. The Turtle Rock routing.
Yeah, if I hadn't done that inverted race yesterday, I absolutely would not have been able to navigate that. So that was helpful for me.
Yeah, we knew Chelsea put off Death Mountain in general longer than you did, which was kind of useful because you didn't have like the book or hookshot. Those didn't really end up mattering, I guess, but Chelsea was able to do a bit more. She had the mirror, she checked the laser bridge and got the big key near the middle of the race. So we knew where it was when you were going up there, and you cleared out laser bridge and then you bailed and came in the front. Were you just kind of forgetting that you could keep going from the back?
Yeah, and I thought there would have been like a better chance that the big key would have been up there. So it was a bit of a gamble, not taking that time to go over there. Once I realized it was all dungeons, I pretty much just like threw logic out the window and just tried to skip as much as possible. Hence why I went to GT and full cleared it before T-Rock. So there was a lot of gambles once I realized like the errors about the requirements. So I just I figured there's more items in the front, bigger chance of a big key being there, but just didn't work.
Yeah, it was just that was a bit interesting at the time because it was pretty darn close. It looked like you were just a little bit ahead at that point. Actually, you were a bit ahead, but Chelsea was having some internet issues, so it turned out she was like a minute behind on stream. So getting that resynced in the middle of Turtle Rock, you were behind after having to check everything there. And what were your thoughts on that Moon Pearl and Ice Palette?
That's fine. Whatever. At that point, I was just like, this is going to be a dumb seed, so nothing can surprise me.
Yeah, I do want to actually... Flyleon was kind of doting on you for this. Like, thought it was he pointed it out as a great move that you opted not to do the Ice Palace Bomb jump there, since you didn't have the hammer, which helped give you a little bit of an early lead.
Yeah, I was expecting the hammer. I was expecting full degeneracy, so.
I mean, I was hoping for a hammer or fire rod. That's just because I'm a jerk.
Yeah, you are.
Wow.
Thanks.
Let me go ahead and add Swerve to this lawsuit.
I think
we got a match.
Okay.
Yeah, my teammate is gonna kick Willard's butt in a minute, so we should probably get.
Yeah, we gotta.
Willard needs to pick up the slack and carry me through this league, so I think we're gonna be moving over to that.
I'm the undefeated one in my team right now, which is saying something sad. Because I'm. Ugh. Anyways, thanks for watching, everyone. This was fun.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Thanks for tuning in.
Wrap things up. Go ahead and give JTB and Chelsea a follow there. The links are in chat. They're fantastic runners of this game and streamers in general.
Quote
And
unquote,
I will be
fantastic.
heading out. So I'd like to thank Phileon for commentating with me, and Drossi for, tracking, and Fear for the restream and all that jazz. If you stay tuned on this channel, like I said, we do have a double header. These teams will be facing off again, and Phileon and JTB will be commentating. Have a good one.
Swerve
Okay.
got prepared.
Yo, GG's.
That was-
See y'all later. Good luck with this next race.